Alright, folks, welcome to month 2. We just starting off the month 2, and one of the new openings that with the white I would want to learn is the Catalan. So I'm going to spend a bit of time solving some Catalan puzzles, and I'm going to spend around 30 minutes trying to build up a repertoire for our Catalan structure. So I'm going to start off with a simple 5 minutes of puzzle streak warm up, which we typically do. Here is the night trap. Really, they have the spawn push coming up. So what we need is a tempo, and in 4 moves we are going to queen. So 4, and we're going to queen next. So it's pretty straightforward. Here currently my bishop is threatened, and he has a rook. Pawn is the main problem here, which appears to be lost. Now, of course, these 3 pawns would be fairly strong for black. Now, how do we go about doing this? I have a check here, which pushes the king here, and it's a mate. I think it's a 2-move mate here. We missed out on the mating sequence. Okay, here what's happening is materially we are okay. So it's an equal material on terms of the pieces. He has 7 pawns, we have 6 pawns, so we are a pawn down position. But at the same time, we have a discovered attack here onto this bishop. If I take this, takes, and then I simply get this bishop. Looks like that's the case. It doesn't seem to have any more discoveries. Alright, this is the active king versus a not so active king. Rook takes, and then I can simply walk over and win these pawns. So it's a pretty straightforward one. Here we have a queening possibility. I check, even do a check. King comes here, check. King goes away. Okay, it's an end game clearly. If I give him a check right away, the king has to move out. Then I push this. King can come in, check. King has to go out. I think that's how it starts. No, start with a check. King comes here, and oh, okay, you simply lose a piece. Alright, folks. So we've just done a blunder there, and we're restarting our puzzle streak. So this is a mating 2. As you know, it's starting absolutely easy warm-ups. We have mating 1. We have white to play. We have a smothered mate. Is it really? I'm not sure, folks. We have this check. The king goes out. Knight check. Rook takes. Bishop takes, and they themselves have a. Okay, they don't, because the knight is protecting. So let's do that. And we now have a check, and this bishop might get lost. Fairly early on, but this is a mate in 1. This is also fairly early on. Mate in 2. I think am I forced? Yeah, it doesn't matter because I get the rook on the fork. So alright, here what do we do? I have a back rank mate. Here, what do we have here? We have a check. The king has to come here, and we have this check, and they lose the queen. So they do lose the queen. Here we are about to queen, and there's no way he can stop that. No, there was a stop. How does he stop this? Oh, it's not protected. My god, it's Monday blues. I have been doing some absolute basic mistakes. 8-in-1. pivot. Check. I still have this mate, right? Yeah. So here we have a pawn mate. Here we have a fork on double attack. Here we have mate here on this side of the board. Two more puzzles and I'm going to take a pause. Last puzzle and I'm going to take a pause here. What do we have here? Okay, this is made in one thread. So what? They have a simple defense. And then I can double attack on this bishop. Okay. Alright folks. I'm a bit stumped. Now I'm losing. Am I? There is one escape square. Okay. Alright folks, I'm going to take a pause here. I didn't really think that one through, but I'm going to puzzle the puzzle themes and I'm going to go to openings. Where is the openings? So I think we have the openings. Yes, by openings, I want to see the Catalan. So I'm going to do a few puzzles on the Catalan. Yes, the Catalan, we have three variations: closed, open and closed. Open and closed variation. So I'm going to start off with, there are around 2000 puzzles in this opening and I'm going to play as white. Okay, it doesn't matter with whom, but I want to see how the position is arrived. So this is the Catalan structure, right? So we have the two pawns here and this is the structure for the Catalan. So let's say this is what happens in the game, and castle. Okay, interesting. So the idea still is to get the bishop in here. Okay, so here is where we pause to see how to tackle this. So we have the bishop here. We have the knight here. We have the knight here as well, threatening the rook. This thing just comes back out here. It's the idea in this position. Bishop here. King has to come here or here. No, sorry. Queen has to come here. He cannot come here or here. He has to come here or here. So it's possible moves for the queen. And if he comes here, it's a problem. So it's forced the queen has to come here, and then I attack this, threatening the fork. Okay, seems logical. Oh my god, that's not the thing. I thought it'll take and then have this fork. Interesting, there's something better. Get that. What's the problem with the other sequence that I was looking at? So what other sequence I was looking at was this takes. I lose this directly. Okay, wonderful folks. I think it's a good one. Good understanding of that position we are getting. Of course, we lose a lot of points. That doesn't matter. We're trying to understand. This is the structure. So we just came to the same structure with a little change of move order. Right. This is where the Catalan structure is. Slight change in move order, and then we develop the queen. We develop the knight. Bishop is a little stuck. Right, this is a very standard idea to get. I don't like that move, but okay. Still, I'm losing this pawn. Okay, the problem is that we can threaten this mate and win back this one, so that's the idea. No? Then you do this. Okay, the idea was correct, the move order was wrong, so you get 2 pieces for the rook. But yeah, I think I missed out on the move order, but if I play this directly, he has this difference. So we missed this difference, so then you do this the other way around, which works well. Alright folks, let's try this again. So as I said, we're going to try and see, this is the Catalan structure, so I'm going to look at a couple of Grandmaster games as well in this position today, and we're going to build a repertoire around it. I'm going to play a game as well in this structure. So let's see what's happening once more. The same structure is brought in, a little change in move order, but we still get into this structure. Now the problem is this pawn is difficult to grab back. We have to look at this open attack to do this normally. We directly challenge it. Alright, so we still have the exchange done. Now I would like to exchange the bishop. So interesting is interesting. We give up that bishop for this knight. Wow, this is a super interesting situation, folks. I wasn't sure why we gave up this. It's the right thing to do. I'll try and analyze it post game. Post our thing. Okay, the idea I think so is swinging the rook over and then attacking this. This was the most logical way to do this. Is there a direct way to do it? So I think it's a more direct way to do it. I can play this knight here. Knight takes, this bishop is under threat, he has to do something, and then I think this is the move. What is? No? The rook doubles in. I can directly win the piece. Come on folks. We've lost around 60 points just trying to understand this Catalan structure. Now we are looking at the same idea from black. What are the black's ideas in this position? Yeah, the idea is of course I am directly challenging. Wow, I don't like this very poor structure situation that we have. To check, so this is super interesting. Now the problem is that this bishop's hanging, and I would have liked to try this. So what if I try this here? Threatening mate, he has a simple defense. Alright folks, let's try and be a little more patient. Try to find the right set of moves. I was thinking getting this here, threatening a mate at this position, so I just want to open this up. Once that happens, to have a nice move. Okay, I also have this move. The queen is in trap, queen has multiple moves. But then I do get this one in, then I have this, then I have this. Okay, I think the move is this, so I'm protecting it. King moves somewhere, queen moves somewhere. Then I threaten the mate in one, he has to defend, and then have this move to stop multiple mates. He's forced to take it because otherwise there is a mating sequence. Very nicely found. Finally, folks, we got one Catalan question right. After doing this, isn't it this and this? What's stopping is this pawn push. Why don't I push this pawn and then try this way? Right, nothing stopping this nice little mate, so I'm going to move back actually, stopping the pawn coming back. Then I'm going to enter. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm getting the queen, right? Why am I so bothered? It's an easy one. Alright, sorry folks, I didn't see the whole sequence in the previous puzzle. How did that sequence arrive? So let's see in this one, no issues. Same Catalan structure arrived after a couple of moves, and then okay, this is okay. Oh, this is an interesting way to defend that. Okay, good news is that once he took it, we have that red. Okay. Oh, very interesting. I don't have a back rank risk. I can simply take this. He's losing a piece. Oh, it's a check. Bishop comes back. Bishop goes here. I pin it. Then open this up. Let's calculate this once. Rook here. Here. Rook check. Bishop here. Bishop goes back. And I pin it. It's a bit stuck position and then I have a lot of time to do. I think so that's how it works. No, folks, no, that's not how it is working. Oh, the bishop did not have squares. But didn't he have this? Then I play this and then he has this square. Then he has a background. Okay folks, last puzzle and then we're going to get into a game. See how this position arrived. Catalan structure. And he's defending, opening my knight. Okay, the knight sits this way, queen attacking the base pawn. What? This is extremely aggressive move here. You give up an exchange and a pawn. Wow. Very aggressive structure folks, and I'm not now sure how to handle this. Yes, there's no way, right? I just take this knight, he has to take this bishop. Yeah, I mean, I can simply take it. What? Why can't I take it? Takes fork, win this. Not so sure folks, what's happening. Fork and then win this. Some sort of move order problem. So it looks like there are very nice ideas, but I'm not fully getting the gist of it. The way it's happening. Take, and then interestingly we take this, allowing this kind of a structure, and he goes back and we take it. So yeah, very Catalan is giving really nice way to attack. A lot of ideas. It's a new structure which I'm seeing. So attack this. Yes, this is the open. Wow. Just wow. So look at the way. Okay, how do you stop this mate? I think it's the idea is just come up here and just try and deliver a mate here. This idea of course would be to get the rook in. Is that able to get the rook in? I'm getting this rook. And then replicate the idea that you were working on. So No easy way to stop it. Okay, folks, great, magnificent. We got one right. I've got 3 right out of 8. So 3 right, 5 wrong out of 8. And then let's try and play a game, folks. Let's play a game. So I've taken a 5 plus 5 an equalish position, and I'm trying to get into the Catalan structure. Place this, I play this, then I play this, I play g3. Right, we got into the Catalan structure which we have been seeing. We need to put the bishop here along this diagonal, and I need to understand the basic ideas, the objective clearly to understand the basic ideas in the Catalan. Now I have this check. The idea now is that the check doesn't work. Then I remember that this idea also was there to threaten this. I should have played this before this. Okay, interesting, folks. So we've lost a pawn, and I'm going to challenge the pawn. Okay, folks, so that is situation. I could not play this as losing the knight, and at this get this knight as losing this bishop. So there is no way other than to move this away. Tough. So yes, so new opening, a little bit tricky situation. I had to take this early call on this. I still have this, so I should be okay in terms of material. Positionally also, it's not that bad a situation. Doesn't have this because, okay, I now take this. And now I have this, and yeah, let's see, let's try this. Alright, folks, we are fine here. The whole idea is that now I have manually castled. Manual castle fail? Not really, it's fine. This is okay. Now I have manually castled this to kick the queen away. The match goes on. It's fine. I mean, we're just trying to survive. A little tricky way, new opening, and I did some opening mistake. First, let's kick the queen away. Then let's try to do something right. Let's see. Where does the queen go? Queen has to go there. Okay. So now I have a way to pin the bishop. Threatening this. Ooh, take, no issues. Doesn't change the dynamic of the situation. I still have you pinned. Defense, offense, not sure. I also have this and then this. Next, knight takes. Right, folks, let's try and calculate. I now have a knight takes, and the queen comes here. Poke, double attack. These two are in a color composition such a way that it cannot be defended. Rooks are connected. We are good to go. Okay, nothing to worry. Yeah. So the way to handle this, I simply have an a3 threat. So I think we are good. Little oddish structure that we got ourselves into. I need to practice this opening. That was the idea of the day. So we're going to, after this couple of games, yeah, I mean, as I said, it doesn't change the situation that much. I still have a3. How do you stop a3? We stop a3. I even have a bishop here, but then I have a3. My simple idea of a3 should be the better way to handle it. I also have this 4, but not really. This one here, bishop here, a3. Decent amount of ideas. There's no check possible. I think we are good. Looks we are good. We are fine. We are fine. We are fine. Looks okay. Of course, I was under the pump, but I have reached a good position. So let's go back and check what happened. Where did we mess up in the opening? I think here, this a3 is the oddish move, and here, what should I do? Once a3 happens, I think I should have taken it and then played it here. I think this a3, or I should have played a4 for a3. It's blocking this, and he cannot take it back. Okay. Alright, I think we have to go back and check what happened here. He took here, but that doesn't change. They have this fork. Rook takes, and then I'm going to take this. And then the king just, it doesn't have any checks. Okay folks, I think we are okay. 2 pieces for a thing, and I have a lot of forks threatened. I have a few forks threatened. Of course, he blundered the queen, so otherwise it was an equalish position, I think. And let me analyze the board. What should I have done here? That is the only way. Oh, this is a mistake, folks. I should have threatened it. He goes back and then play the same a3. Why can't I take it? There's no hurry to take it. Again, I messed up a middle game idea here. There's a middle game idea which was missed. Just simply delay this and then continue to play this. Then pressure and take, and we are fine. Just exchange, then try for more exchange. I think it's good. We had a decent opening. Other than the middle game idea which I missed, let's check the opening. As I said, once the a3 is played, I did the right thing. He takes, then I should simply castle. I think the idea here is to simply castle. Defense, then try to put pressure this way. He plays, then you give up this. Does this, close this, close this. Still lose the pawn. So there's no easy way to defend the pawn. So his point is that just castle and continue development. That's what I missed. Then I have forced. He gave back the pawn and then only moves. I played on only moves. I ended up drawing this position because I did a mistake. I shouldn't take from the rook. I should just delay. There's no threat other than this threat. So just take it. And if he does this, take it, and then take it, and we are good. And we are good. So we are a single piece up. Alright folks, good situation, and I think let's analyze our mistakes. We look at the opening, so mainly we are focused on the opening. I also want to see a grandmaster game, so I'm going to want to see a grandmaster game in this position. Masters database, and what are the games? Wow, we have had a few games. Carlsen versus Ding Liren game in the same position, and let's see what happened in this game. Then he goes back, opens it, and very interesting. This is Carlsen playing white. This is is very, very interesting the way the structure goes. I'm just trying to just briefly go through it, not in depth. So pretty much a drawn endgame. So Dingley just messed up somewhere. English position. We had to push for a check. This is a pawn. It's a tough endgame. So Carlsen, of course, Magnus Carlsen is able to do a lot of things. Let's play one more game, folks, and then I have just understood a little bit better about the Catalan today. So I'm going to try and see there is a 5+0. I want to look at the Catalan structure a little better. So let's see if anybody takes up this challenge of 5+3. Yes, we have, but if you're playing black, no issues, folks. Let's try and learn this. Learn a black opening. So black opening, we have, we have the Khan structure, closed Sicilian, open Sicilian Khan. That's what we are trying to learn from black for this position. So I'm going to open this. He plays this pawn push, put the bishop on this diagonal, and then put the knight. Okay, I'm not sure when, but I should move queen here at some point of time, or d6. One of the two has to happen as an initial idea. So I move the bishop attacking this, and let's see, folks. Let's see how this thing goes. So we have the standard Catalan structure, Sicilian Khan structure that we built it up already. We are targeting the pawn, get the queen in, stopping the bishop move, then get the knight in. He would probably castle at this point of time, and I'm going to respond with knight to c6. He opens the bishop up, bishop to e7. Then he would figure out an activity where I'm going to do. My next moves are knight f6 and castle. Structure we are going for. Alright, so after this what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up chess base and build up. Okay, this is interesting, trying to play against this. I can directly play knight f6 here, because he cannot play this. The queen takes this, and then I'm going to play this here. In fact, I can play this here as well. Why can't I play it here? What's the problem? Why can't I play the bishop here, targeting this pawn? I think I should have tried this. Let's play the bishop here, targeting this pawn. I'm not sure how it goes, but I'm going to try it nonetheless. What is the structure? How does this work? I think this is here. This pawn seems weak. Interesting, very interesting. His sense is that he's getting a pawn, getting a piece. Let's do this check. Let's do this check. So I'm a complete piece down. I think I can resign. I think I messed this up pretty badly. No, not really. Let's try. Let's continue trying. Yes, this fork. I'm going to take the rook and knight. Fork, I'm just... okay. It's not bad. Okay, here's a check. Okay, folks, I can resign. I think I should resign here. I'm losing one more piece. So I think I messed up and I want to analyze this well. So I think the mistake is this. And he did find the right move. The best one is give up a pawn and then do this. Oh, I had a way to avoid this, and yeah, I'm still losing a piece. No, not really. Then close. Okay. So we are fine, folks. It wasn't really as bad. Oh my god, it was bad. Why don't I press this here? Check, and then I just move away. Yes, it's a couple of mistakes, and then a really bad opening choice. That's why you should not play bishop d6, because of this pawn becomes a target. Very nice move, very nice move. I think I really enjoyed the move nonetheless, and then I think it's a beautiful move. I really enjoyed this opening surprise that I got. Great. Very nice opening. New idea that I learned today, that the bishop cannot play there because of this knight coming up over there. Very nice. Let me try to get the Catalan structure again. If he allows and doesn't play something else, plays this, I'm going to play the Catalan, which we have been trying to learn today. He takes. Okay, not an issue. Still try to get the Catalan. Plays this, so okay, not clear. As I'm able to get Catalan now, but let's see how this game progresses. Let's take a couple of seconds. This is not as per our opening prep that we have. So let's see. Knight. I shall have this bishop also now here, so it's fine. I have a castle, and then I just move the bishop in, knight in. This check. Knight comes in. Check. This bishop lost. Simply lost. Oh. Alright, folks, I think we are winning this. I think he missed this. It's a pinned piece. I'm threatening this check. So he'll probably castle. Now I do this. If he takes, I first check and then take it. So I think it's like lost. Yeah. So as I was thinking this, so I have an intermediate move, which gives me the rook as well. So okay. I thought this seems to be a fairly easy game. But I still want to analyze this. So I wanted to go to the Catalan way, but that didn't happen. This is accepted. Queen's Gambit accepted structure. So e3. It's a pretty much what almost everybody's played. We still have a good number of games in this position. We have good number of games. This is a mistake, and the right move here is a pawn push. Right, that was a mistake, and the right move there is a pawn push. Because that is really nasty. The bishop takes a lot of time to develop, and the mistake I did, I just simply castled. And then I checked first. I did this check, and then I did this check. There is a way to get out of this. Is a simple castle, which he missed, and then it was lost. Oh my god! So the thing is, what I should be doing is right out of this, give him this check. The bishop comes in and then push this. It takes. You give this check, this comes in, and then you simply take. This comes in, you simply take, 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 and then we are materially a full piece up. Okay, crazy folks, crazy. I really missed when I played this move. Both of us missed that there's a queenside castle which completely protects the situation. So yeah, now this thing doesn't work. So you do okay. Why can't I? Okay, yeah. It's a fairly equal position, massively equal position. Why don't I take, and then do this? Losing. Okay folks, so I'm going to call it a day on the game. So I played 3 games. Let's just summarize the profile. Go to profile. So I played a few playing puzzles which we've struggled because I'm learning the Catalan. So we won a couple of games in Catalan. We played a rapid. Okay, this is just 960. I don't know. We played a rapid game. I think 5+5 is considered rapid, which we won, which was in the Catalan, and then the 2 blitz games. So we played 3 games. And we did fit into a puzzle streak. So now I'm going to close the day on leeches, and I'm going to go back and do something in chess.com. Sorry, chessbase. And there I'm going to work on the Catalan today, and I'm going to record that after some time, where I'm going to look at the Catalan structure and look at the basic ideas which would help me to do well in the Catalan structure. Thank you folks. See you. Hello folks, welcome to the discussion on the Open Catalan. So I'm going to spend the next 20 to 30 minutes trying to analyze this Open Catalan structure, how it typically works. So I have just on this tool, which is chessbase, I have just tried to figure out the typical opening structure. The same structure is available in multiple different ways. One of the ways it can come in is, as you can see here. At this point of time, you have a couple of options. You can give a check, or you can take the pawn, or we can, for which we typically do a check to try and recover the pawn, or we can even play knight c3. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up 1 or 2 games, grandmaster games, to analyze how this structure is being handled by the grandmaster and how do we progress from a specific position. So I'm going to first of all try and look at this structure, and I'm going to go to reference, and I'm going to take a few grandmaster games on this. Here it is, and of course I would want to see if Carlsen has played this structure. Carlsen has played a lot of games in this specific structure, and he has had a pretty decent result, as you can see. Most more or less he's won from this specific structure. So I want to understand the structure better. Alright, so let's look at his game against Anish Giri or Ali Reza, which has happened, and we'll see what exactly happened here. You can also see how he lost. Let's look at this position. Actually, he lost against Nepo from this specific position. It's a rapid game that he's played. First of all, the way I'm going to approach this is I'm going to first figure out in every position what I would have played, and if that's different than what he's played, we'll try and see. So first of all, the move that was played is queen to c4, and for this I have 3 choices in fact. We can see I want to attack this pawn, and one of the things that I would have done is played queen c2, one of the possibilities, and the one that was played in the game was knight e3, and the other possibility that we can look at from this position is attack the same pawn but by queen coming up to here. So we have 2 possible approaches, and I want to see what happens in each of these approaches. Queen c2, what if he would try to defend the pawn as such? So this is one of the possibilities we would have to look at. If I further try to pin it, and then I just defend it again. So overall I just hold on to that pawn without much effort, but I think this overstretched pawns. No, the problem here I feel is this kind of a situation where the rook, I think, could get badly misplaced.
So the problem is this bishop. So his a6 is, I'm not think so, is very accurate in this position. I can play a bishop here. It's an awkward defense for this. Still I do have this, but then I think I can push this pawn and this whole thing stabilizes. It's a bit tricky way to handle the same thing. Why don't I play c6 directly? I think this would make a lot more sense because we're closing on the structure and making this work. Queen a4 is also possible, but yeah, I think then we will have to give up this pawn, and there's no easy way to defend the pawn. I would prefer queen a4 over knight a3. For knight a3, I think, what is the defense? Again, knight a3 doesn't really have a defense. I can't protect this pawn. So knight a3 or queen a4, I think these are the two possibilities I would consider in this position. So, but he played knight a3, and here he just cancelled this up. So of course this is a very poor pawn structure for white. This is an overextended pawn which can be further targeted. But yes, this is not really good. So I think this is a pretty good idea here by black to screw up the pawn structure and, you know, of course ensuring that this pawn stays free. But here why can't I play a move such as the queen a5? Oh sorry, black's move, black plays bishop d7, stopping queen a5. As such, of course, you know, we can try and target the pawn, but there's no easy way to defend and keep holding on to that pawn for long. Max has tried a4 here, and he stabilized his bishop at bishop c6. Of course, now he's going to have the healthy pawn advantage, and for some time now, I think black would be marginally better here. Behind development, of course, that's one of the factors here. This knight is still undeveloped. We are in move number 9, so we still do have some amount of time to complete our development. But yes, Magnus goes for bishop a3, targeting the rook. Rook goes to e8. It's obvious moves here. Here, what do we do? He goes for queen c2, again targeting the pawn. So as anyways, already stopped b5 to protect the pawn, so we win the pawn back. Queen c2, he develops, and he plays rook a to c1. Still developing. I think overall fine. Why can't he knight b6 to protect this? Kick the knight. Knight sits somewhere, and then you have to go take the pawn. So at some point of time, you will have to try and regain the pawn in one way or the other. We need to make it work. Bishop d7. Bishop d5 was played, protecting the pawn. Now do we have a way? Rook fe1 was played with the idea of pushing this pawn and simplifying the structure here. Rook c8, e4, bishop c6, and finally we do win this pawn, but he's just delaying it further because he says, how would you stop me? c3 and knight b1. So it looks like, I'm not sure why this is happening, folks. I have no idea. So why didn't he simply take this pawn? There is a problem with this. So what is the problem? Alright, so you get this pawn in return, which is again not a great idea. It now makes sense why it was targeted. So now why can't I take this pawn? Same issue. It's not the same issue. I can't take it. No, this is protected, so I can actually take this. I can't take it. But I can take this pawn. So roughly there's a lot of pawns hanging. So every move here is very, very instructive. Which basically is saying I'm going to defend everything. The queen is the one which is defending all the pawns, and this knight finally goes out to pick up this particular pawn. So knight a4, and then we end up taking the pawn, and he also gets this pawn back. So this is not such a great situation here. Now if I look at this, obviously I think white's pawn starts in super bad position. Also, he's a pawn down. So Carlsen is already a pawn down, 7 pawns versus 6. But the pawn structure is really, really terrible. And I think this is one of the reasons why he would have gone about and lost this match. So let's try and add the Kibitzer as the engine at this point of time to analyze what's happening. So I want to add an engine. Let's say Fritz. I know not a great engine, but yes, you can clearly see black's much better. Pawn up. double bishop advantage. That's why it's not -1, it's -0.52. Mainly because of the double bishop advantage. That black is slightly better. Black has an isolated pawn on c5. c5. Nothing on c5. White pawn structure is weak. And has f6. Okay, so this is a situation here. Bishop into a4. That clearly says probably defendable. And here, as we can see, there is a pawn push that has happened, which is not good. And how do we go about? Okay, so first of all, one of the things that engine suggests is spoiling the pawn structure. So how it's helping? Yes, it is probably helping now to equalize because the pawn structure is gone. And then you play e5, f into e5, bishop b7, rook b8, and finally rook into c7. So it's a very active defense kind of a structure that the engine is going for. Actively, getting his rook activated and everything. So I think it's a very nice way the engine is saying we can equalize at this point of time. But looking at this point of time, that we can exchange and get the rook in was not very obvious. The reason why you cannot do the other way around is the bishop comes in the middle. So the idea is here, interesting idea that the engine came up with is to give up a pawn but get activity in this position. Of course, if he takes this, it would not be a great idea because you would lose this pawn, and again we have everything active, which is really great for white but not so great for black. Interesting idea that engine came up with, but yes, Carlsen executes the same idea. He would want to sit here, but he cannot do it from this position here. So he plays c5, and yeah, white has a pretty good activity, as I thought he would be playing this kind of a situation. Now he could have tried this kind of a situation, but he didn't do that. He could have, I was thinking he could have tried this here. The engine suggests here, but I thought he can try it here and then push this pawn and cemento it this bishop kind of a thing. So bishop into c5, and this is pretty good position. Knight f8 can be played here. f4 was played. Knight f8, f4, bishop c2. So I'm not going to get into the depth of it, but if you can see, it's like marginally better for black. And I think it is in fact equalized towards the end here. I think he blundered something. Very equalish position. What went wrong? Yeah, it was a fairly equal position. And a pawn up endgame. I think somehow Nepo converted this pawn up endgame. Yeah. Because he is losing the base pawn, and of course, the opposition has a way to convert from here, resulting in Angus resigning. So what happened somewhere along the way is this pawn on h3 became a big problem, and Nepo converted. Otherwise, I think right out of the opening we were fine, and I understood a few opening ideas that is coming up here. I'm going to close this one. I don't want to save it. I have analyzed it a bit. Let's look at one more game. Let's go back here and let's understand this. We looked at from here and we looked at how it progressed. Close this. Queen c2 is not one of the ideas is this, but I don't like it too much. But yes, bishop takes, pawn takes, and then you play the same idea of queen c2. That's also a way to handle not queen c2. In fact, yeah, sorry, the opposition would probably get the bishop in. You try to block the b5 and then get the queen into the game. So this is one of the ways to handle this opening. So I would want to also look at some things with a end to c4 or bishop into b4. Let's look at if there are some games along this situation, and of course I want to see if Magnus or some strong players have played this. Magnus has played it with very much good amount of success against various players. Let's look at the two world champions, Magnus Carlsen, Dingleren. Dingleren no more the world champion, but yes, he was the world champion some time back. And let's look at this specific structure. So I think you would just try to challenge it here. Why can't you take it? You can even take that. I think you take queen into, knight into, both are possible. So I take queen into. So this is also a possible way that black would handle it, and then I can go about this. And now it's difficult to protect this pawn, as what I understand. I think I can just play the knight here, and this you do gain back the pawn. This is knight a3. I think I should keep this idea in mind. Some knight a3 idea seems to be very common in the Catalan structure, trying to get back this pawn. We of course have the idea of ignoring everything and just going here. So we have a couple of options that we can look at. Of course, I will try to review this initial opening lines with engine. And he played bishop b7, bishop g2, castle, queen c2, c6. So this is queen c2, I think. So is, let's say if I do something else, then I think this pawn's pretty much lost. Right? I think I can simply take this pawn or develop. This pawn is always a bait to slow down black's development while white aggressively develops. So I think we can still give up the pawn. Bishop f4. So if you see we played bishop b2 first, managed the check, and then we finally put it where we would want to put it, which is bishop f4, nb to d7, and we play h4. It's a very interesting idea. I'm not sure how this works, but it's very interesting. He plays h4. I don't think so it's typically played in this structure, but yeah, I'm seeing it here in the Carlsen game, which means probably it's commonly played. b6, and this is played in a rapid again, knight c3. So we have the knights in. Structure seems great, good for the black and white. In fact, both the bishops are up. Now I'm sure that he'll get the other bishop in, as I thought. The next move was bishop a6. Finally we do take, and then we go about castling it. So this still is a very weak pawns here. All these white squares are weak. My mistake, sorry. White squares appear weak. We have a lot of places where the knights can jump into, so it's not really a great way because we already have played h4, so I was not very sure how it works. Black plays b5, white prevents the pawn further push, and then he plays rook c8, pinning the knight. And white gets this rook. This is very interesting, folks. Why not this rook? Apparently this rook here is much better than this rook here, which I don't know why is the case. He's unpinning this pawn, and for which he's playing this here. What if I play this here? Pawn push, pawn takes, bishop takes. Clear, folks. Again, this is some ideas we need to be clear why this rook and not the other rook. In this position, bishop b7, queen b3, unpinning a6, and knight a2, trying to root the knight to a better square. Rook c4, e3 defending, h6, knight d2, kicking the rook, rooks exchanged, and queen a8, getting onto the diagonal, preparing some sort of pawn pushes in some of these positions. Bishop tries to get into bishop c1, bishop c8, bishop e5, allowing a further exchange of rooks. And yes, I was wondering actually, because if he does take and this knight has to take, this is not a really great situation for white, I felt, because the knights are fairly underdeveloped, but this knight is ready to jump in too much active squares, so not really such a problem. Queen d1, knight d6, rook into, queen into, and bishop b4. So white exchanges the rooks, and then he plays bishop b4, knight b6, knight c1, b4, knight d3, a5, kicking the bishop away. Bishop goes in fact, a4, and I think bishop can knight into, bishop d into, knight b4. So it looks like I think we have stabilized the white's position. It's very stable. Bishops go off the board. Knight f5, it's pretty stable position. I think we'll exchange the other Wow, we don't exchange. This is pretty interesting. Why don't I go about exchanging this? Then I cannot take it. And why can't I just simply go back? And then come back here. The issue is this pawn's an outside passer, and a passer pawn should be pushed, and this becomes a big problem for black. This is very interesting idea, folks, that we don't really have time to get the pawn back, and the queen comes in to swoops in, and this becomes too powerful for black. So what black did, interestingly, understood that this pawn would be a problem once you do it, so he interestingly gives up. This knight, he pins the pawn to the bishop, king f3, e5, stopping further ideas, and knight d5 jumps in, bishop into d into, so bishops are off the board, and then knight comes in. Again, I have this passer, which is really painful, can become painful, but of course, Dingliren takes care of that, gets the knight in to ensure that the king has enough time to go ahead and pick up this particular pawn, which can become a really big pain. So king g2, king f8, king is coming in, and yes, oh my god, so I still see that the pawn is a problem. Yes, pawn is a big problem now. Yes, pawn, I think we saw this pawn idea earlier, but yeah, this pawn is lost. The pawn's queening and your match is lost. So we saw this idea here as well, why bishop is not working, because the pawn becomes a passer. Same idea later on became the problem for Ding, and he lost this match on the same idea that we saw. So of course I would want to add the engine. Not sure what's happening, but let's add an engine to understand this better. So I think I'll have to figure out a better engine here. So let's look at the opening position here. What about bishop into d2? Is it possible? And the best move here is, okay, both of them are fairly equal. Knight into b2, queen into d2, both works. And yeah, here what I was saying is, what if he takes the pawn and then you play bishop g2? So if you see very clearly, knight c3 and bishop g2 is what engine prefers. Even knight a3 works. So I think overall this is a pretty equal position to play. What about bishop g2 also works? Yes, you were right on that. Bishop g2 was played, and then he castled. Here I was looking at knight c3, and c into d5. Both of them are fine. He plays queen c2. Queen c2 is also okay, and then he plays c6. Here bishop f4, right? So here castle and a3 are the best move suggested, but we played bishop f4, which is fine. And here he played h4. As I said, I think h4 was not really a very accurate move, or at least that's what I get a sense of looking at this position here. And what had to be played here? If you play d into c4 and then queen into c4 and knight d5, just getting the other knight in would be a good idea, because then the bishop gets displaced, the bishop has to go back, and it is much better position for black as such. But yes, he played b6, and now the knight jumps in, knight c3, c into makes sense, and then he castle. So castle was of course the best move in the position, but it's equal out of the opening. He plays b5, plays a3, blocking this. I think we understood all of this. Now here I was looking, why not rook ac1? Alright, it's not a problem. Rook ac1, there's no big deal issue here. I was preferring the rook ac1, which is still doing fine. Rook ac1, b4, a into b4, bishop into b4, and then queen a4, and we are fine. So it was not really a problem. The one thing I was confused about in the opening, and then all the exchanges here seemed logical to me. Here I looked at rook into c1 plus. Was this a problem? No, this was also okay. So all our variations we saw seemed correct. And then here is the other one. Let's look at queen d1. Any issues? I see that it's a very equalish position. So no big advantage exchanged here. Ah, knight into c4, bishop into c4, and knight e5. Looks like white did solve most of the problems. Came out fine after this. Here, as you can see, engine is saying e4 and queen d7. Queen d7 is a great move. It pins. This is what happened in the game. But what, as I can see, bishop into c5 really is a big mistake because of. Oh, interesting. The move he talks about is knight into h4 plus g into h4 and then queen to c5. Give up a piece. Does not make sense to me. So queen d6, yes, and then the whole match is just lost because of this pawn. And the same thing happened in the game as well. So interesting, folks. So this is one of the structures that's happening. And this is what I'm going to stop at this point of time today here. I don't want to save this. We looked at a couple of games and looked at our. I'm going to save this ideas as Open Catalan, and I think we're going to stop here. But these are quite an interesting set of ideas. This thing here. So I have got a good idea of the opening, and we're going to go ahead and close the day by studying a bit of Open Catalan. Thank you, folks.